So change your X535D fuel filter. The difference between this and the 335D is the filter itself. We'll get into that in a second. But ultimately, the issue that I had is that when I would undo the two 10mm bolts that hold these brackets that hold the fuel filter in place, these guys on the back side were just spinning. So what I did is I took a Dremel, I cut the brackets as you can see, and I pried with a tool removal from the sides onto, pressing onto the fuel filter, because if I dent it, it doesn't matter, to pop them off. Once I popped it off, I could remove it. When I got both off, I removed both sides. But I still have these pieces in play. It's two 14mm, one here, one here. And you have two lines that run in the back. Just push them with your finger, they pop out. And the one that loops around to the front of the fuel filter goes here, pop that out. Correction, here. Once I took it out, then I could knock these out because I needed the bolts to use on the new one. I don't know if this has ever been changed before. It had this glorious factory clamp, which I spent a lot of time trying to get off. But let's look at the difference in the fuel filter. So there's a size difference. The 335 is shorter. You can see the dent when I took off this one here. But also, it's not as big, it's a little bit more narrow. And there's a notch, see, on the top, so you cannot use a 335 filter with the X5. To prevent this in the future, other than not being an idiot, I've also used some anti-seize on the 10mm bolts that hold these brackets on. So when it's all said and done, it should look like this. My new clamp. Now to prime it, because it is different than the 335. So to bleed this X5 2013 X5 diesel 35D, it's different than the 335D because ABOS toolset 32 does not work, at least the same way, everything's set up the same way as it did with the 335D. However, ISTA Plus will. To do that, go ahead and get your vehicle information. I did it with all the tests. Shows no codes, no faults. Next, we're going to go to service plan. I'm going to go back so you can see how I get here. Powertrain. We're going to go to digital diesel electronics, then bleeding fuel system. Now right now you hear the fan going from my battery charger, since the car does have to be on, just to be safe. I'm going to start search. Do this ABL display. And for those that say you don't need to do this and you can keep starting it, that's great. Keep doing it that way. But for those that, in my opinion, want to do it right, here's how you do it. It says here the actuation must last for 3 minutes in order to be adequately vent the pre-supply system. You can hear it, listen. As this is going on, there is a remaining time in seconds countdown. But now listen to the difference. No air, no bubbles. No leaks. That's a plus. So I challenge those to say, oh, just hit, to keep cranking until it starts, etc. I want to hear those bubbles. I want to hear that air in the line. Because if I don't hear it, then to me it's not actually bleeding the line. So, got about a minute and a half left. Let's fast forward time here, 80 seconds. 50 seconds, still no noise, no bubbles. It's still active, you can hear it, the motor running, but it's very faint. So I went way longer than need be, I'm already convinced. But cancel actuation with next, I hit next. So now it'll go through, and it wants to keep going, but I don't need to do that, so I'm just going to go back. You can hear now it's stopped. Only thing you hear right now is the fan from the charger. So I come back over here. Just gonna go to the top, that X. That's it. How to prime your X5 e70 X5D 35D. Those who wants the difference, the 335D filters on the top, X5D filters on the bottom. You can see the little notch right here. What I also noticed is the gasket. The gasket right here. My X5 didn't have one when I took it off, and the new one did not have one either. So it leads me to believe it might possibly be something for the 335D only. Quick comparison. See, it's hard to tell in here, but if I put that rubber gasket here on the X5s, it's very small. Alright,